This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We welcome you back in. It's a fresh hour of VSiN's Live Bet Saturday countdown to tip-off just about 20 minutes from now, 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time from San Antonio, Duke, and Houston. We've got a lot still on the docket for you. I'm Ben Wilson. Geoff Schwartz with me here for the next 2 hours. We're halfway through. It's been a really fun show so far, Geoff. Florida covers under cashes in Game 1. And now we're set to go for Game 2. So we've yet to get into our plays. We'll start that right now as we prepare. 20 minutes to go. What is your feel more than anything for how Game 2 set to play out here?
So I took Duke to cover the second half -1.5. The number's mine 1.5, 2.5, somewhere around there. So I'll give you my reasoning for it. For starters, I think the first half is close as Duke sort of figures out how the game is going to be played. And they can play the game many different ways. I think Houston has one way to play the game, but Duke has multiple. And the second half, I expect them to be able to open up a little bit. Two things I think that play to my advantage here. One, Houston's a bad second half covering team. They only covered 12 second halves the entire season. Now, part of that could be they've been up big and you just sort of take it easy in the second half. But I think part of it's their style of play, right? Where they're they grind it to a halt, and it's hard to score baskets, I think, when you grind it to a halt in the second half of games. But more importantly, too, that Duke shoots very good from the foul line. Like that matters. They don't turn the ball over. They make their foul shots. And I really do believe this game could get out of hand. And I know we're on opposite sides here on this take, but I just think when you look at Duke defensively, how long they are inside, Houston's not getting a lot of shots inside. If they struggle from three, I don't know how they're going to score. I think Duke has many outs offensively, right? If Flag's not doing it, they can make their threes. They can go inside for the lobs. Like, they have more ways to win this game. And if Houston has any time at all where they don't score for 2 or 3, 4 minutes at a time, which they do less of this year, but they're still prone to do that, this is a 10+ point Duke win. So that's sort of how I think the game's going to go. Obviously, if it doesn't go that way, I'm going to lose my wager. It's all the wager I made, Duke second half so far. So I might hop in Duke live or maybe get plus money both ways like I tried to do last game. So we'll see how I end up doing it, but that's what I have so far.
And look, if you're making a Houston bet, which I did, you do it with the knowledge in your brain that if you're betting against Duke, there is a very real possibility that because of the talent Duke has and because they've got the best player in college basketball in Cooper Flagg, I mean, they have the ability to make you look really dumb very quickly. And that's why, for me, yes, I mean, it was a Houston bet. It wasn't a big wager by any means. It's one of those where I do have a lot of conviction just in what Houston's general, how their philosophy has been able to translate into, on-court X's and O's and the toughness and the physicality that they will prevent. I don't know that I don't want to buy into the narrative that, well, just because it's a different sort of test that Duke has seen, that just automatically means Houston is going to be live in the game. It's more that we generally underrate defense. We've underrated Duke's defense all year. And as much as Houston has been a defensive machine, it still tends to get lost in the shuffle because defense isn't really sexy, just like being an offensive lineman in the NFL. It's not a sexy thing to talk about. But I do believe what Houston has to offer with the length, the court coverage, the ability to cut off driving lanes to the basket is going to keep them in this game. And if you were asking me to power rate what two bets I like more, the Houston side or the under, which I played at 136, I'd say for me, it's as funny as this is to say, Geoff, I'd much rather take the bet where I'm not getting closing line value. I'd say the under is my favorite play out of the two, even if this will end up closing probably 137.5, 138. I still like the under despite the movement against me here.
Yeah, I think the only way it goes over in my mind is Duke going over, right? Like Duke being incredible. I don't think it goes over because Houston has some incredible game offensively. Do we agree on that? Like, it only goes over if Duke has a game that we think they could possibly have offensively.
Agree on that front. I mean, I guess with the added wrinkle being if Houston, who has been a good three-point shooting team, if they're, if it's slow tempo, but if they're just lights out from three, and if that turns into Duke really trying to speed things up, transition off of makes, that's kind of like an additional wrinkle to that. But yes, I mean, it's going to have to be Duke carrying the load, I would say, as far as an over goes. Yeah,
so I'm curious to see sort of how this one starts. The officiating is going to be important here because, could there be a situation where it's let them play, which again, the first game, I don't know what to describe it as. I felt like they let most of it go, except if there was a challenge at the rim and they called the foul. So possibly that's the way that this one goes well. But if they let it go, certainly in Houston's favor. If they're calling it tight, Houston is, and again, they might change throughout the game. So I'm not saying to wager in a given way based on that, but it is worth noting. By the way, they got Magic Johnson on the set at TNT now. I mean, look at this. This is like one of those political sets when they put like 10 people on the set. You're like, that's a little too many guys, but it's Magic and it's Charles and Kenny. I mean, this is like this is fantastic.
Magic in the Prada shirt out there in San
Antonio.
We've got a six.
I'm curious what the connection is to this. Like he obviously played at Michigan State. I'm curious if he just like, hey man, come on the set.
I mean, he's a Capital One, brand ambassador now. He's in the commercials, so maybe that's what has something to do with it. And he's Magic Johnson. Maybe that's all he needs. That's all you need to know. He's Magic.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm from Los Angeles. I grew up watching Magic play, obviously, but my mom's gym for a long time, where she went to, Magic was a member there, and I would go and work out there in the off season when I was in California. Dude, he said hi to everyone. Like, people would say hi to him, and it was unbelievable to watch. I'd be like, there was like 2 stories at the top. I'd be like on the elliptical machine, kind of like warming up. Magic would be downstairs doing his workout. Nicest person ever. Like, most of us in the gym, I don't want to do a soul. I got my headphones on. Like, don't talk to me at all. Please don't talk to me. Magic said hi to everyone. Everyone who said hi to him, he'd say hi back. Like, nicest guy ever. I thought it was fantastic.
It's amazing. I did not have that on my bingo card. You and Magic working out. Well, you can just say you worked out together. Even
working out together was a very different workout, and we were not near each other at all times. But it was wild to see, because you would think like he's Magic Johnson in Los Angeles, he'd be like against sort of being friendly at the gym, and he was not at all.
It's a very good point, because you would think friendly in any other setting, but like he seems like the kind of guy that like wants to get in and do his work, as I feel like most pro athletes would want to be. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he loves that gym time. He's a gym rat for multiple reasons, apparently. Anyway, Magic is there. We are getting ready. We've got about 15 minutes here till tip. Player prop wise, the only angle I was interested in looking at here would be so it kind of tied into my thought on this is going to be a game where I like Houston to keep it very tight. Maybe as part of that wrinkle to how the game potentially goes over, it might start with Houston making some threes, then that leads into Duke picking up tempo a little bit, and this starts to get a little faster than I and many others certainly believe will be the case. LJ Cryer, he's over 2.5 threes, over 2.5, a minus 115 here. That would be an angle, a guy who's hit it about 40% all season. Even though Duke is so good with the length, Geoff, on the perimeter, I still believe, and especially if Houston is down in this game, that'll force him to take more looks, but I believe he's going to have his looks at the basket tonight from long range. So that's the one prop that jumped out to me tonight.
Yeah, I've stayed away from some of the props. Some of the markets too, they're not two-way markets, so it's hard to find unders for things. It's mostly just overs, and it's hard to find combo props as well. So I played nothing this game. I've had flag over for most of the tournament, but and you can't get. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. You cannot get in-game college basketball player props, right? Like I think that's not a thing. I would love to sort of see how the game is played and take flag live at some point, but it's not a play that you can make. So I just can't do that.
Right. Yeah. And if we will be tracking that, if for some reason that I always just pull up DK in New Jersey, and that tends to be a pretty good barometer of where a lot of the rest of the country is at. So we'll let you know if for some reason that's not the case. But I'm with you. I don't think it's ever the case.
Yeah, because that feels like a wager worth making at some point. It's not going to happen. I did make a wager that we talked about this all show. Unfortunately, it was during a break, but Timberwolves 76ers, I took Minnesota minus 6.5. I think I'm going to get home.
bang. You kept waiting for the perfect timing. Minnesota was a 16.5-point favorite. They might still cover the full game, Geoff. I give you props for continuing to check back on that. Minnesota against the tanking Sixers. Minnesota's up 11, 4.5 to go in that one. Minnesota in that fight to try to stay out of the play-in tournament. I mean, anywhere from like the 2 to 7 seeds could still be flipped in the final 2 weeks of the season here. So that's really down to the last few days now of the regular season. So I'm impressed that you were able to get that bet in.
Stayed on it.
Way to stay on it here. Memphis is taking a 6-point lead on Detroit. 5.5 to go there as Memphis got a big boost in the market before late buyback on Detroit. That closed Memphis -1. Memphis looking for how about this? Their first win against a team over 500 since February 2nd. I don't know. You think Detroit were they popping some champagne? They clinched a playoff berth after their last game. So I don't know. Maybe a little sluggish tonight and hung over for Detroit there.
That's wild that they haven't beat it. Say they get February 4th?
February 2nd against Milwaukee. So we're talking a full 2 months.
Pre-Super Bowl.
Pre-Super Bowl.
Back when I thought the Chiefs were going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. I look silly, too. But it is what it is.
Well, look, you're probably not great at betting every sport. I'm not telling that to you, Geoff. I'm just making fun of that. Well, we were both wrong at the Super Bowl. But if you're not great at betting every sport, let Rhythm help. The best bettors use data to get ahead, so why not put AI to work for you? Rhythm is an app that helps you build personalized betting models, analyze trends, and make sharper picks for every game. Right now, you can get 50% off an annual core subscription with promo code VSIN or 25% off your first month with promo code HOOPS25. Head over to rhythm.com today, RITHMM.com. Still to come this hour, Geoff Ulrich joins us for an early Masters preview, round 4 picks from the Valero Texas Open. We'll also talk some late night baseball and our final thoughts. Duke Houston tip-off coming up right around the corner, and we'll have it covered for you on Live Bet Saturday.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Just a few minutes from tip-off in our final 4 game of the night. Back with Geoff Schwartz, I'm Ben Wilson. They're running out on the floor in San Antonio here as the market continues to kind of ping-pong back and forth. Geoff, moments till tip. Duke going to go off 4.5-point favorites. We got a little late under money here, so 136.5, 137 our prevailing total. A couple books out there still hanging 138s, but look, all over the place here on the betting. We're kind of on opposite sides, yet at the same time, I mean, we can very easily, Geoff, win our wagers respectively. That's the beauty of this stuff. The markets are very vast and give us lots of opportunity. So I think what we're hoping for is fast start Houston, get up by 2 or maybe like 4 or 5, and then Duke, you have them second half. Duke second half, they come back, and the game ends up landing within like 3 either way, and it ends up being like 60 to 57. So it's a no sweater on the under, and we go home happy, right?
Man, Duke's scoring 60 points. I know Houston defense is really good. But I mean, Duke scoring 60 points, it would be like shockingly low for their ability to put the ball in the basket. I mean, it's been in the tournament. It's been 93 in the first game where they won by 50, 89, 100, and they scored 85 against Alabama. They could have scored 100 if they tried to score the second half. The whole second half, they took every second. I had Duke team total over 90.5 in that game, and they just took all 30 seconds of the entire shot clock. It almost got 85 points. Didn't even try to score 85 points, basically. 60 points, I mean, that would be by far a season low for them. I said 63 against Wake in a win, but that, middle of January, like I don't know how much to put into that. Put that into everything, but wow, 60 points would be low, man. I mean, it's possible if Houston, if they let them play physical, certainly possible.
Well, look, and that would be, I mean, we're talking 20 points under. So, and what we're more realistically expecting to see, if you were to get kind of in the, at least based on the, where the spread and total is at, if you were to get like 70 to 66, that's kind of the projected final score line based on where the spread is at. So that's to me. I mean, if Houston holds Duke, like 70 is probably the threshold here that we watch out for. I mean, I believe Houston has the defense to do it. It's funny, like you say, 60 seems like unheard of to be able to slow Duke down to that degree. Even 70 is not easy given this offense, but that's probably the threshold you'll have to get to if you're Houston to feel like you've got a chance, A, to cover, and then B, to even be in the mix to win outright.
Absolutely. So that's obviously the game plan for Houston here as we go through all the intros. Update, by the way, 104-102. In Philadelphia. The Wolves are up like 12 3 minutes ago. This might be a Sixers win. How about that?
I mean, this is nuts. And the Sixers, who have, they have lost 11 straight games. The Sixers, who have the top 7 protected first round pick, they would lose. That if they aren't careful here, if they were to finish basically, like, they could lose their the number 8 pick as part of some past trades here. So Philadelphia has every incentive to lose. I'm just going back through the schedule. The last time Philadelphia actually won a game, it was against the Dallas Mavericks, when the Mavericks were like, that was obviously when the Mavs were post Luka Doncic trade, and they also still had Anthony Davis out. I mean, outside of that, the Sixers have been, not only have they lost the last double-digit games here in a row, Geoff, they've just been downright uncompetitive, losing games going away to the teams like the Raptors and the Heat and the Wizards. Like, this is not a team that's been competitive, and yet as a 16-point dog tonight, they're somehow live. It does not make any sense.
They were down 101-90 with about 4 minutes left. And they've outscored the Wolves 13-3 in the last 10 minutes. So last 4 minutes. So we'll see what happens here at the end. I mean, obviously, 6.5 feels unlikely to cash unless it's an overtime. NBA is far different than college basketball. They're not going to foul very often in this situation. So maybe they get 2 threes in a row, or a 3, and a couple weird things happen. So, but it feels like I'm not going to win this wager now. I thought I was in the backs. Aleppo led with 4 minutes left.
I thought you were good too. I mean, it's just been stunning. I know I should correct myself. 14 straight losses for Philadelphia. I even shortchanged them a couple. This I believe would be. I mean, this would be one of the top 2 or 3 biggest upsets as far as money line price is concerned. Minnesota 16-point favorite. We've seen a couple teams in the NBA favored by 20 plus this year, and most of the time those have just been absolute mega blowouts. But this has certainly not been the case. So we'll keep you posted there. And the rest of the teams in the West are licking their chops. If Minnesota somehow blows this game and could potentially fall and stay in that 7 seed line and not get out of the play-in tournament, that would be a big blow there. Also, Memphis looking to hang on, and Memphis, a team, Geoff, like, they could easily fall to the 8 seed line if things continue to go poorly. That's a game that's gotten really tight all of a sudden. As I'm just updating my getting a half second behind here on the score. Memphis just hit a huge 3. They take a 6-point lead on Detroit with 25 seconds to go. So it looks like they will survive. And in the meantime, Bucks and Heat tied at 57 apiece at the half. So pacing way, way over. That's one I got to look at a second half under here, because, I mean, the market moved about 5.5 points to the under. Both teams offensively have really been a mess, and it's been a game where both teams have really shot over what you'd expect here. Especially, I mean, a combined 12 threes out of the gates. It's not like an insane amount, but I'd certainly expect things to cool off in the second half for these two teams. And Giannis Antetokounmpo hasn't even been that great, just 12 points so far. So that's the only way I could look as far as an in-game angle there.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to wager on that game. So in the West right now, Minnesota 6, Clippers 7, who play in about 50 minutes, right? 40 minutes, somewhere there. Grizzlies 6, 7, 8. They're all with the same record, 45-32. So obviously Wolves lose this game, Clippers win, they flip, right? And the Wolves are in the play-in game as of today, obviously. Grizzlies lose, that would hurt them as well. So in the West, I mean, look, the Warriors feel like they're moving out of that doormat, right, position at the bottom of the standings. They've played good basketball lately. They're winning more games. They're playing better. They can still drop back, but it does feel like Minnesota, LA, and Memphis, two of those three are fighting really to stay out of the play-in game.
And by the way, Golden State just in that win over the Lakers the other night, Golden State goes over their win total of 43.5, which there was a point in the season, Geoff, they looked like they need a lot of help to get over. I mean, and of course you make the trade and Jimmy Butler comes in and they've barely, I think they're 21-5 now after the win since Butler came to Golden State, and they're even better in games that he actually plays in as far as the winning percentage. Yeah. So Golden State, I mean, look, if we get a Golden State LA Lakers first round matchup, Geoff, which I mean that's a very real possibility.
David Stern would make sure that didn't happen. He would have made sure that didn't happen. You know that. They don't want Warriors Lakers in round one. They want Steph and LeBron to play in round 2 and 3.
Well, the issue is there's that team called the Oklahoma City Thunder that one of those teams would have to probably get by. I guess if it was, if one of them, the issue is it would have to be like one of them slipping to the 7 seed, because it seems like everybody wants to be the 7 seed, as Houston has been viewed to be as a bit of a fraudulent 2 seed, Geoff.
I am a Lakers fan. I would like to be the 2 or 3 seed to avoid Oklahoma City as long as possible, right? Like you want to make that, and to honestly avoid Denver, who's been a problem for the Lakers. Obviously, they played better against them during the regular season this year, but they've been a problem. Denver, the Lakers do not beat them in the postseason, and obviously different Denver team. So that 2 and 3, as it is right now, you'd stay out of playing Denver and OKC, I think, until the Western Conference Finals, and the Lakers would get the T-Wolves as of now, and then they'll get the Rockets, who they just beat the other night. So I hope they can stay up in the 2 and 3. Now, the Lakers again have a tougher schedule because they have still some backloaded games. They missed some of the games because of the fire, right? So they still have the Thunder twice in a row. Like they got some tough games coming up here. It's the Thunder twice, Dallas, Houston, Portland. So they can split the Oklahoma City games, both back to back in Oklahoma City. I do feel like they can stay up in that 3 seed.
Because it does feel like, I mean, we're saying 3 through 7. I mean, everything's still in play for all these teams. And it's sort of like, as a fan, I mean, what odds do you set on like 3 seed is obviously, as you lay out, that's the dream scenario, right? Because you get a Minnesota team that would be Jekyll and Hyde all year, and then potentially Houston in round 2. I just, what percentage of a chance do you think that actually happens? That's the big question for me, because I have no idea. I feel like there's a lot of different ways the ball could fall here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm keeping tabs on this game, man. Anthony Edwards hit a 3, then made a layup. They're up 6. I'm like, oh, sweet. They're up 6 with 59 seconds left. There's no way the Sixers are going to be in this game. They made it. Sixers make a foul shot, turnover by Mike Conley, layup, and then a 3-point. Now it's a 2-point game. So this is not fun. This has been ridiculous. It's not great. The Wolves are probably going to win.
I feel partially responsible for. I'm not gonna, I feel bad, Geoff. Like I set you up to have to deal with your miserable sweat. We'll get to also the start of Duke and Houston. It's coming up right after the break. We also will get to Geoff Ulrich. We've got some PGA thoughts to get to. Valero Texas Open. That's coming up in 20 minutes. So keep it here. Live Bet Saturday. Lots of NBA, MLB, and Final Four talk still to come on VSiN.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We're back, Live Bet Saturday, and we are finally underway. Houston and Duke has started. Duke closes a 4.5-point favorite, 137 your total. And Geoff, hopefully for Houston backers like myself, this is not a harbinger of things to come. Although for under backers, you love to see this start. You go block, airball on a 30-second possession, and that's how it starts for Houston. One possession, we're not going to overreact, but yeah.
So like, this is the thing about review that sort of like kind of bothers me. Like, so they just reviewed a play and put 0.2 of a second back on the clock. We know that the only way to score in a situation is to have a lob, right? Like even then, I think it's like 3/10 have to be on the clock to score.
Right.
Like why are we reviewing that? Like just the play's over. Dude, that's a shot clock violation. Just give the ball to Duke. Like that stuff kind of bothers me.
The fact that we get a review also less than a minute into the contest was impressive, even by these official standards. First, also Houston gets a stop and then a foul called on Malowacz on the inside. So, interesting to see how early on we get the review, we get a whistle in the first minute. That's something to watch here, as we'll let you know how the in-game lines all shake out with that, as we'll be on the air for most of this second semi-final. Again, Florida awaiting in the wings. It's funny for us as bettors, we always think, okay, is there a dream matchup we could get that would be able to initiate a bet for us? So if now that we have Florida, we know it on one side. Florida versus Duke or Florida versus Houston, which two you would at least lend for betting purposes, Duke. Right? A better position to want to wager.
Betting purposes, I don't know. I don't know what betting purposes. I want to watch Duke Florida play. That would be the dream game, I think. I mean, I think we all want to see that. That game I guess there's already numbers up. I wonder what the total would be for that game. Got to be near 160 probably, right? That's just, I think everyone assumes a lot of points will be scored in that game. I think they're the two most talented teams and the two best teams, and that will give us opportunity to watch. And I think we all want to watch the best play, and that'll be the best.
Yep, I'm agree with you that and I would want betting wise the matchup to be, I mean, Florida Duke, simply because I just feel like stylistically Duke is just a slightly better version of what Florida does. Sure, Florida just has an unbelievable player in Walter Clayton, but.
Look ahead, Duke minus 4.5 against Florida. So that's not bad. I did not see the total for that one.
Yeah, 4.5 on that, and a Houston Florida game would be. I mean, from like a basketball sicko perspective, like it would be fascinating because you'd have an ultimate clash of styles there. And I've been a pro Houston bettor all tournament. I'd probably back Houston there. I wouldn't necessarily feel as good about it though, because Florida has proved me wrong pretty much every step of the way. Houston, they do get a 3 though out of the gates, Geoff. So off to a good start there.
Here we go. Yeah, 3-2 right now. Yeah.
As long as just keep this somewhat slow, grind it out. 30-second possessions, we'll be happy there. 3-2, just over 2 minutes and 15 seconds into the game, and a lot of missed shots early here by both teams. We've been talking a lot of NBA as well tonight. It is a final. Timberwolves 114, 76ers 109. That's rough. Whether you bet Timberwolves pregame, second half, in game. I don't think there was ever a moment where you could have won, even though clearly the situational angle was to bet Minnesota, Geoff, and it just did not work out as the Sixers suffer their 15th straight loss, and the Timberwolves, who could not afford to lose this game, look very unimpressive in a 5-point win.
Yeah. I waited. I don't think I could have gotten a better number. I mean, I got 6.5 at the
You did the right thing.
Quarter,
you waited as long as you could.
And we're up 11 with 4 minutes left, and let it become a 2-point game with 30 seconds left. So, and this game, this is the unders paradise in this Duke game so far. Cooper Flagg misses a layup. Big fella can't tip it in. Go down the other side, just chuck up a layup. It's not even close to getting anywhere. I mean, this is just like this is exactly, if you the under this game, you just couldn't start any better than this.
The issue is when it starts out this good. Just like, over bettors in Florida and Auburn will tell you, when it starts out this good, it can only go one direction.
Well, listen, what's more likely to happen? Like Duke figures out how to make some shots, they both do, or Houston just uglies this game up forever. I mean, that's the thing, is like, I just don't know Duke, I think eventually starts making shots. Cooper Flagg was at the rim, just have to finish it.
Duke, I think, just looks a little nervous here out of the gates. I mean, for their first 4, bad pass by Flagg results in a turnover. The two teams are combined 1 of 13 out of the gates here. 3-2 Houston, 16:09 to go. We'll get an updated live line in just a second, but quickly a reminder, we are approaching the summer season, and we have a great offer on hand right now. It's VSiN's summer special that is available for you right now. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to be a part of this summer special for us here at the network. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber and stay connected with all of our betting splits that we get from Circa and DraftKings, as well as best bets, betting guides, all that good stuff. And until August 1st, you can become a VSiN Pro and get all of those betting splits as well for just $59. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. All right, updating our live line and total here, Geoff. because you got to think, as Emmanuel Sharp clanks a free throw, and this has kind of been just sort of a case of osmosis, it seems like. Nobody's able to hit a shot here. It's been a domino effect. We're already down to 133.5, so a dip of about 4 points or so off of the closing total. And Duke is a 6.5 point favorite, just as I believe that's because they're about to hit a shot. Finally, their first one of the game. But as much as this has been a good start from Houston in the sense of they've kind of mucked it up, made it a slow pace, Geoff, I mean, if you're getting an awful start from Duke and yet you're still trailing at the first media timeout, that's it's not what you want as Con Knipple makes a corner three.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is what, you know, the concern is, right? If you're Houston, like you have to. I just don't think you can play this game with Duke where you just try to muddy this game up forever. Like, Duke's going to score their points. And you have to sort of mess. Before their last shot attempt, which was they were fouled on, I think Houston was 1 for 10 shooting. They just made a layup, so now it's 2 for 10. That you can't do that, right? You can't be 2 for 10 and expect to beat Duke. Look, Duke is certainly not playing great. They're not they're just all over the place right now. But it's just a madness, dude. This is like guys falling all over the place. This game is not aesthetically pleasing like we saw the first one.
I do think it's one of those games. These teams just need to get to the first couple media timeouts, gather themselves, settle in a little bit, because Houston has been able to, I think, in certain instances, like in the transition game, they've actually sped them up too much. Then they've slowed them down more than they'd like in the half court. But Duke's had some wide open looks, and finally they do bury one. Cooper Flagg, his first bucket is a tray to make it 8-6 Duke, and we've not had a stoppage in about 3 minutes. So this is good stuff. At least, you know, we want a close game without it being like crazy high point scoring, Geoff, for our betting purposes over here. So this is at least we're getting like a lot of kind of crazy back and forth sequences, which is at least a good thing.
Yeah, and I go back to this, like if you're looking at this game as far as like what tempo to be played at, maybe it's Houston's, but Houston's not making their shots, right? Like, again, I'm going to say this 1,000 times. Like, I think Duke's going to score. And if Houston doesn't keep up, it's going to be a long night for them.
Right now, 10-6, Tyrese Proctor gets his first bucket, and you have all these guys who've yet to get unlocked for Duke, and you kind of remember, there's just so much talent. They're down the board. So we'll keep our eyes on this, continue to get you in-game updates. We're about to have 2 commercials in a very short period of time because we still have yet to have a whistle, Geoff. And it's always kind of hilarious when you get that sort of stretch, and then all of a sudden we basically get consecutive whistles resulting in 4-minute TV commercial timeouts. Always a fun time when that happens, right?
It is. It does mess with the flow of the game a little bit. There are so many reasons to play quarters, and one of them is this exact thing. So when the women play, 100%. Right, they play quarters. They get 1 media timeout at the 5-minute mark. It just, the game flows so much better. It just does. Like, they reset fouls, so there's less foul shots, which, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe the scores will probably go down a tiny bit, I would imagine, with less foul shots. But these games won't be muddied up with foul shots. To me, the game will be played a little cleaner. So obviously probably never going to happen because we actually want it to happen. But it does need to happen. Cooper Flagg takes a 3 and bricks it. Houston's off running now, 10-8. Again, no stoppage of time, and
this is hilarious.
This is exactly what the tempo I think that Houston wants to play at. Another brick in and out. So when you're, I think, like, as you mentioned, you're on YouTube TV. You're about 45 seconds behind. We still have not had a stoppage. Yeah. We don't have a stoppage. Cooper Flagg gets a dunk in transition. We are going to be at 12 minutes to go. We're at 12:20. We still haven't had our under 16 media timeout. So get ready for a lot of nothing to happen over the next few minutes once we get these stoppages as Con Knipple goes backdoor. And look, I mean, if you were wondering, okay, if in a track meet like this where we haven't had any stoppages, Houston is built for these sorts of games. I mean, Duke has matched all of that as they lead at 14-8 on a 9-2 run over the last 2:45 still without a whistle. So this has been something else. We finally get the whistle, Geoff. We got there. 11:51 to go. Our first media time out comes. All right, on the other side, we're going to talk some Masters and 4th round Valero Open thoughts. Our pal Geoff Ulrich from DraftKings gets set to join us right after this here on Live Bet Saturday.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We welcome you back. It is Live Bet Saturday with Geoff Schwartz. I'm Ben Wilson, and how about this, Geoff? We get the 11 under 12 media timeout that should have happened at the under 16 media timeout here in Houston Duke. So they go ahead and have LJ Cryer, after the 3 minutes of commercial, shoot one free throw, and now we're back to commercial again for 3 to 4 more minutes. So college basketball media,
pay those
you gotta love
bills.
it.
Gotta pay those bills.
Pay them bills.
Pay them bills.
14-9 Duke, which is great. Nothing's happened. Nothing will happen for the next few minutes. It gives us a great opportunity here to go out to our progressive guest line. Duke 7.5 point favorite, by the way, 134.5 your total. But it is almost Masters week, and we also have one more round of golf to talk about at the Valero Texas Open before we get to Masters week. So to help us do that, we go to our pal Geoff Ulrich, who's standing by in the progressive guest line. You see him as a DraftKings PGA, NHL, and NFL analyst, also on the with the folks at fantasylife.com. So great to have Geoff with us as always. And before we go to Masters week, sir, I'm fascinated to see what happens tomorrow, where we expect windy, raw conditions again at TPC San Antonio. I don't know how many guys are going to have one foot on the private jets to Augusta National. And who will actually be engaged here. But with that as the context, what do you make of Brian Harman here leading things by 3 shots as your favorite heading into round 4?
I mean, I'm hopeful that Brian Harman has one foot on the jet and overlooks this spot, because I would appreciate Tom Hoge somehow winning this. It is an interesting event here. Like you look at Valero through the years too. This has really been a front runners tournament. I mean, you look back the last decade, the winner has generally been the guy in the lead going into the last round. There's a couple instances of guys like first, second, or second or third sort of making up, but it's a tough course to make up a lot of ground. Now the wind's going to be up as well. There are not going to be a ton of low rounds available. So at the same time, Harman's got 2 guys chasing him, and Andrew Novak, Tom Hoge. They don't have bids or they don't have invites into Augusta yet. So those guys super motivated. And I'm not suggesting Brian Harman isn't going to be motivated, but he hasn't won since the Open Championship, possibly a little bit of veteran jitters there. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I think if I'm looking at this board right now, I don't hate taking a shot with Tom Hoge. Brian Harman is kind of tough as nails. It's not like he's not necessarily a guy I want to take on in the spot, but like you said, there's a lot of wind going on here. And if that putter just goes a little cold, if the irons go a little cold for Harman tomorrow, I think Hoagie's the kind of guy who can make it up. It's one of the purest ball strikers in the game. So plus 1,000, I'm already on him pre-tournament at like plus 7,000, but I think plus 1,000 is kind of a fair number for Hoge to be chasing in this spot, considering how condensed it's really kind of a 3-man race. I mean, I don't want to close out the guys at -7 too much, but I think Hoagie's in a pretty nice spot.
How much does the round 3 result play into looking at round 4, right? So you mentioned Harman and Hoge. Like Harman shot 72 is the worst of the weekend. Like, does that worry you if you have money on him? Like, do you think that carries over into round 4?
Yeah, I mean, I like Harman's hitting it really nicely, and I thought he actually played a pretty good round. I mean, even par in those conditions was actually above the field average. So I wouldn't be overly worried, but at the same time, when you look at Harman's lead in here, he wasn't playing the greatest golf. So I would say I do think there might be a little bit of aggression in there for Harman tomorrow. Like I said, he's a really great competitor. He obviously ran the table at the Open Championship and against a much tougher field. So he's been here before, but I would worry a little bit. Maybe that ball striking just comes down to earth a little bit, because he's been pretty phenomenal in that regard. We'll see. I do think that, potentially one of these guys, Novak or Hoge, can catch him, but I mean, I thought Harman handled himself nicely today, but I could definitely see him coming back a little bit tomorrow.
It doesn't matter how much experience you have, what the situation is, motivation. I mean, closing out a tournament on the PGA Tour, never easy. That's what Brian Harman will try to do tomorrow as Geoff Ulrich joins us. Follow him at the Fantasy Grind. And I think a lot of bettors are like, let's just get this Sunday over with at the Valero. We want to bet Masters, and a lot of markets have been up for some time since it is the biggest golf tournament from a betting perspective all season here. And this is year 3 of the live golfers being able to take place. We saw year 1. They were vastly underrated in the market because we had no data, and they did awesome. Last year was a bit of a different story. So where do you stand now on year 3 as far as the live approach and the integration into the Masters once again?
I'm of the opinion you can still there's still some avenues for value here with a lot of the live guys. I'm not suggesting like you just go out and bet all the live players, but when you're looking down the board, like obviously we've got two big heavy favorites in Scheffler and Rory, but you look at those next 4 or 5 guys on the board. Look, I've got futures on Ludwig Åberg. Don't love his lead-in. Don't love a guy coming in with 2 missed cuts. Could he bounce back? Absolutely. But at this point, with Bryson DeChambeau now leading the live event in Miami, with him playing well at Augusta for potentially like the first time in his career last season, I think you have to love Bryson in this spot over, Morikawa, Rahm, Åberg. So I really don't hate the odds on Bryson. I mean, he's a guy who came up and beat Rory, beat Scheffler at the U.S. Open last season. I think plus 1,700, plus 1,800, pretty fair number on Bryson there. So, like I said, I think he's still just being a little bit underrated. And further back, I got to admit, looking at a couple veterans here, guys like Dustin Johnson and Sergio Garcia, to me, really underrated. Not necessarily guys you need to go out and be like, oh yeah, they're going to win here, but top 10 bets on these guys. Sergio Garcia plus 750. It's been one of the top live players all season. He's in contention again. He's already got a win. He's playing really good golf, and Dustin Johnson started to come back to life. Plus 550 for a top 10. I would play him down to like plus 500. I think a nice 2-for-1 scenario you're potentially getting there with some placing bets. Taking placing bets on both DJ and Sergio Garcia. You hit one, you're definitely going to be in profit on those two.
Are there players to fade in the Masters? I know it's not always fun to do that, but obviously the way the course sets up and, players aren't playing well at times. Are there guys that you're looking to fade with round scores or head-to-head matchups?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the thing about Augusta, too, is it has turned into a bit of a bomber's course. I mean, you need decent length here, or you just need that long iron prowess. A guy like Hideki Matsuyama, maybe not as long as guys like Scheffler and Rahm off the tee, but he made it up because he's such a good long iron player. I think Colin Morikawa can kind of fit into that bill as well. Another player certainly wouldn't put past him winning, but there's other players necessarily coming in who have looked okay in spots, but maybe don't have that length. And if they're not firing at full tilt, maybe like a guy like Tommy Fleetwood, who everyone remembers top 5 last year, really good event, but coming in this year, just not playing as well, not really having a great week at Valero. A player I wouldn't really be afraid of fading this year, to be honest, if you're going to get some good matchups. Tommy's a great Open Championship player, but outside of last season, hadn't done much at the Masters. So a name like that. I think there's a couple players on live, like Jon Rahm. He's been in the media a bit for motivational stuff, but he like I said, he's been outperformed by a lot of the other live players. So another name there who his odds haven't really come down much yet, but potentially really sort of ripe for to take on with some matchup bets, especially if you could get like a matchup with Bryson or Morikawa there with Rahm. Wouldn't be afraid to take him on either. So I think you're always looking at the course fit and then, how the player is leading in as well. A couple names there that I wouldn't necessarily be afraid of fading this week.
Again, we're talking early Masters bets here on Live Bet Saturday with our guy Geoff Ulrich. You can follow at the Fantasy Grind. It's so fascinating for the futures perspective for the Masters. There's bets that you make months out, and then based on current form and new data and new games, you might add guys as we get closer and closer. Who of those guys fall into that second category for you, Geoff, that you've maybe added as we've gotten closer to the tournament?
Yeah, so I think for a lot of these mid-range players, I think the lead up is super important, and especially that week before. I take you back to Hideki Matsuyama. He was playing pretty good, had a decent week at Valero, rode that momentum into a win 2022 or 21. I can't remember, but 2021, excuse me. But I think there's a couple guys at Valero who could potentially do that same thing in the middle of the pack. I think Patrick Cantlay. He fell back a little bit today at Valero, but generally been striking the ball well almost all season. He hasn't won in a while, but he's been posting those top 5s. The ball striking is there for Cantlay. He's a guy we've seen gone out and beat fields with Rahm, with Scheffler in it, and really take on those top players. So I think Patrick Cantlay is very fair at plus 3,500 right now. We've seen him go off of majors at plus 2,000 or shorter. And then I'm going to go further back with another guy, Canadian Corey Connors. He has played extremely well all season, having a pretty good tournament at Valero, really doing it all right now. Connors used to just be that one-dimensional. Yes, he can hit the crap out of the ball, tear the cover off the ball, but he can't putt, he can't scramble. He's kind of doing it all right now. and it's a step up. And I think Connors is a little bit underrated. You can still get him at like plus 7,000. So two guys, I really like the lead in for both those guys. Cantlay especially. I do think at some point Patrick Cantlay probably going to get a major or at least come very close to getting another one, or to getting one, I should say, at some point in his career.
Mm-hmm. The card has started for Geoff Ulrich, and I'm sure there's so much more to be added here over the next 4 or 5 days. Geoff, as always, really appreciate you coming on for your insights, and enjoy the chaos that is Masters Week, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys.
We still have much more to get to. We'll talk, hear some updates on the Houston-Duke game with Geoff Schwartz when we come back, because it's gotten a little ugly here. We'll get you the updates on the other side as we roll on. It's VSiN's Live Bet Saturday.